Sketching buildings freehand and pen always brings a lively, characterful result with little imperfections and lots of fun about them. Hello everyone, welcome back and thanks for joining me. Today I am going to take you through painting this little house sketch I did. Now anyone local to me might actually recognise this, but it was a birthday present, so I thought I'll film it and share it and you can watch along and see how I do some of my house paintings, which is really my thing. Painting houses more than painting flowers is what I do, so I thought I'd better get going sharing some of my house paintings. So the first thing I would want to say, if you're watching this to learn from it, is I am using the absolute wrong brush for painting this roof. It's far too small and likely to end up making the roof a little bit patchy. Now, I think I got off with it in this case, but really what you should be doing is using the largest brush you're comfortable with for the area that you're painting. And this one is just too small. You can see I'm sort of scrubbing there, trying to fill in the areas. So much larger brush would have been much easier and produced a smoother result. The first layer of the roof was painted using, I think it was aquamarine blue. Now I'm adding a touch of purple to the roof just to give a little bit of variation in the colour, a little bit of interest and a little bit of depth as well, because it darkens the areas I'm going over with this second colour. So I'm just painting it, making sure it's blended with not too many hard lines or edges in the middle of the roof, but making sure the edge of the roof itself is quite sharp, so is quite distinct. So as you can see, I'm just going over here with a little bit more colour, a little bit more intense colour, so you can clearly see where the edge of the roof is. I wanted to show you how it could flow much nicer if you use a larger brush. So here's a larger brush and it just paints so smoothly. And I'm going back in, adding more colour to it with the larger brush, and it blends beautifully. The paint is still wet underneath, but you still get sharp edges if you're careful around the edge of the area that you're painting, and you get a lovely smooth coverage. Not a huge difference in the size of brushes when you look at them here, but the belly of the brush on the right is much larger. So I'm just going in with an underwash here on the wooden gate. I think there's a couple of different colours involved here, and I don't need to be too precise or careful. I can leave it with edges. I can leave it not blended beautifully because I'm going to go back over that with different colours to show the different colours on the different planks of wood. The side of the house is in shadow, so I'm just going straight in there with a very neutral grey colour at the moment, just to start filling in areas of the house so we can get the general feel of what should be darker, what should be not quite so dark. And I'm using the same colour for the side of the chimney, which is also in shadow. The windowsills and steps at the front door are a lovely brick red colour, so I'm throwing that in just now. Now, I don't usually paint in such a bright, vibrant colour this close to the beginning of my painting. Often that's a lot further through, but I'm just wanting to get a feel of what should be bright, what should be dark, what should be more vibrant, etc. And I know this is one of the most vibrant colours in the painting, so if I just get the first wash of this down, it'll help me figure out a lot of the other areas. the flat area on the top of the step and the flat area on top of the little stone pillars at the side are going to be paler, so I've diluted the red paint to make these areas a wee bit paler. I'm using quite a dark but neutral grey brown colour here for the top of the stone wall and the shadowed area of the wooden gate. And I'll go on to add a little bit of this darker colour into some of the wooden gate as well to give variations in the colour of wood. And then continuing with more natural brown or earthy colours on some of the other planks of wood in the gate. So I'm using yellow ochre, burnt sienna and a little bit of raw sienna light. And you can see that's giving a nice variation to all the strips of wood in the gate. And down at the bottom, a little bit of the darker raw sienna, and I'll just blend that up a little bit. I'm using a burnt umber for the window frames. So the two windows on either side of the door and then the window a little bit further along as well. Just painting in the actual window frames just now. I'll go back in and darken some areas of that to show the depth of the windows sitting inside the wall of the building. And again some burnt umber, which is really a deep brown round the door frame. Again, let's get as much colour as we can down. So this is a neutral grey for along the pathway, and I'm starting to fill in some neutral grey up along the top as well, along the tiles that along the tiles that are at the very top of the building. I'll go back into each of these tiles individually. So here you can see I'm painting some random tiles because each of the tiles look different. So I'm just painting some random tiles in this colour, and I'll go back in with another quite natural colour and paint more random tiles. So here's a little bit of bluey grey on a couple of them. I did paint the front walls of the house the palest buff colour because the house itself isn't white, but it's a very pale colour. I just forgot to record that, sorry. I'm using some burnt orange for the door, which is wood, and it's just to give it a bit of a glow as if the sun were hitting it. I'm filling in the windows beneath the roof overhang in quite a dark bluey grey. They're quite dark because the roof overhangs and gives that little porch area. It makes the windows there quite a bit darker than the windows further along, which I'm painting in a little bit of a brighter blue. So I put the turquoise blue in, but then you can see I kind of changed my mind. I don't want it so vibrant. So I go back in with my brush and try and pick up some of the wet paint and the pigment with my brush. You'll see that just now. I'm taking out the vibrant blue from the window there. It just felt a little bit too blue at the moment anyway. I'll maybe go back in and add more blue shortly. A bit of the rich burnt umber colour round the top of the chimney stack there. And I'm starting to fill in more vibrant colours in the tiles along the very top of the roof here. I feel they could be darker than the initial colours I filled in there. So I painted a couple blue, now I'm making a couple of them darker brown colour. And some more neutral sienna type colours, so browny, orangey, grey sort of colours. Let's get a nice vibrant colour on these chimney pots, or chimney pot. I'm just picking up a little bit of the paint that bleeded down onto the chimney there. Watercolour paint dries a lot paler than it looks when you first paint it down, when you paint it wet. So when it dries, it does get a lot paler. So I'm going back in with a second more intense red for the steps and the windowsills, because that is the very lovely, bright, vibrant colour in the painting. So this is me doing the second layer, which makes a huge difference. We can see that the first shadow layer I painted on the gable end of the house is not dark enough, so I'm going back in with a second wash of shadow. This one's got a touch of purple in it as well. Now, unfortunately, I didn't manage to video me painting the rest of this house, so please forgive me, I'll try harder the next time, but I hope that gives you a good understanding of how I painted this cute house sketch. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll share more with you soon. Thank you.